Shields versus Marshall then. I know Alex was big on Shields dishing out a lesson, and it kind of proved to be for the most part. I think Shields kind of started off really well, didn't she? And she kind of just dominated from the start. And Savannah Marshall gave it a good go a little bit later on, maybe nicked a couple of rounds. But it was just a really great performance by Shields from me. Yeah, a well deserved win, and she's probably cemented her place as the greatest women's boxer of all time if she wasn't already. Go on then, Alex. Sing praises.
No. Yeah, the GWOAT. I mean, what more can you say? I mean, what we got three-time undisputed, two weight classes. I mean, that is one of the most amazing accomplishments we're going to see in any sport. I mean, that has to be. I mean, really. I mean, come on. She's a two-time gold medalist in the Olympics, and now this. There's no one that's gonna be able to match his accomplishments in boxing. And then if you just look, I said, in overall sports, you know, I got to stop. Hold on. Savannah Marshall, I have to apologize. I didn't give you much credit for your skills. And Savannah Marshall, you are a really good, not just a women's fighter, but a fighter. You know, like you said, Shields came out very hot. She had a lot of volume. She smothered her. She smothered Marshall. Marshall never stopped trying. And then I think about round six, Marshall finally got in the fight. She was doing some really good. She's a great inside fighter, and she was also creating angles. While she was creating angles, Marshall was stepping to the side, and she wouldn't just keep going to the same side. She would switch it up. She would throw a little bit, switch it up again. So Savannah Marshall, you definitely should be on a women's pound for pound list. Um, you you probably could move up, get a title shot, and probably beat whoever's at 168. Savannah Marshall, you have won me over as a fan, so thank you for your performance. Now to back to Claressa. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't think she had to fight that on the inside or fight that on the ropes. She chose to. I think when there was space, when it was the middle of the ring, Marshall really couldn't have much success. But Shields, she made it a bit of a dogfight when she probably could have used her feet. And it was a good fight, entertaining. She was the rightful winner. I scored it 7 rounds to 3. If you had it 6-4, that's cool. But good fight, great for women's boxing. I don't think we had with this fight. There wasn't too much about them being pretty or having this physically. It was about the skills, and they both displayed what they do best. So thank you, ladies.
Cool. Josh, your turn.
Oh
Go.
yeah, yeah, I'm with that. I share, of course, same sentiments as Vega there. I did think that one of the things that stood out for me early on, and I knew it was going to be a great fight from there, was how crisp those combinations were that Claressa Shields was throwing, and they were super sharp the way she was landing, and I think that you could see it visibly on Marshall's face there early on as it started to turn red, and I think it showed that Claressa Shields, she is as advertised, and I think all of the build up, all of the years of work, her being what she was on the amateur side, I think all of it has paid off for her, and we are seeing pretty much the top female out there pound for pound right now. There are some others who are right there in the mix, but definitely I think Claressa Shields has shown that she is the top dog in some sense. And I like the fact that she was really in there trying. She said she wanted to try and stop Savannah Marshall. She wanted to knock her out, and I thought she was really in there trying. And most people could just fall back or would just fall back on their skill in this case, and not really risk it. But Claressa Shields isn't that type. She really tries to back up what it is that she's talking, and I think that's what made for a very entertaining fight for her. And I give props to Savannah Marshall, who I've been a fan of as well, and I think that she showed that she is a very strong and skilled fighter, and you can see that she uses her length pretty well whenever she's at the right distance and gets the right opportunity in there. And I think that with Claressa falling back on the ropes at times, Savannah Marshall would go in and didn't really try to dish it out, so she wasn't shying away from the exchanges either. And I think that made for an interesting fight between the two. And she did definitely have some moments where she landed some pretty good stuff on Claressa Shields. But I thought that overall, when you just look at it from a performance perspective, we saw just Claressa Shields on the top of her game. And I think anywhere between 154 and 168, there's nobody that can touch her right now. And so the question would be for me is like, who's out there next? Because thus far, there haven't been many that have given her a super tough fight in this particular manner, or not even that necessarily this one, but just in general. I thought Savannah had moments, of course, but and there have been some other pretty entertaining fights that Claressa has been in, but some of the other tops of the divisions that she's been in, when she's taking them on, the fight turned out to be pretty much one-sided in Claressa's favor. So I wonder who's out there now in or around those weights that could make it happen, unless we get some of these smaller fighters jumping up, which would be pretty large leaps for them to get to Claressa Shields, because there are some down there in those lower weights that I think that pound for pound, if they were able to be matched up, would make for some pretty entertaining fights. But hey, sky's the limit, I guess you can say. So we'll see what's next for Claressa Shields. Everything is in her court, as far as I'm concerned, as it pertains to the weight that she's at and those that are generally around that.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the the depth of the ladies divisions in that weight class, and it almost seems like Savannah Marshall was the one person that would have been the challenger potentially, and if she just kind of swept her aside, then who's next? I don't know who's left, or if there's any kind of big hopeful prospects on the horizon. Who knows? But yeah, I guess it was a good advert for ladies boxing. Hopefully, there'll be more and more competitive fights in future as well. They're showing the men how it's done. You know, the best are fighting the best, and that's always good. Hopefully, they'll inspire another generation as well coming through for future.